Welcome to the Bainbridge Museum virtual tour. My name is Doug Hulsbeck. I'm a retired Navy chief, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Navy rank structure. What I'm showing you here is the enlisted rank structure. Beginning down here at E1, coming all the way down here to E9. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into thirds, which simplifies it a little bit. And we'll start down here with the E1, which is a seaman recruit. And you'll notice that there's a difference in color. And you have your fireman recruit, your construction recruit, and then you also have your airman recruit. As E2, you'll see that you have your seaman apprentice, and E3 you have seaman. And those all follow suit all the way down with your color structure. When you come over here, you're petty officer, and as a petty officer E4, you're a third class petty officer, and E5 is a second class petty officer, and your E6 is a first class petty officer. As a E7, you become a chief petty officer, and E8 senior chief petty officer, and E9 master chief petty officer. Now you probably wonder a little bit about the gold stripes. What's the significance there? We'll talk a little bit about that later. What we have here is the officer pay structure. I know it's a little bit harder to see, but I'll point this out. So in 01, right here is your ensign. Your 02 is your lieutenant junior grade. Your 03 is lieutenant. Your 04 is lieutenant commander. Your 05 is a commander. And your 06 is a captain. 07, 1 star, which is a rear admiral lower half. Your rear admiral upper half. Your vice admiral. Admiral. And the 5 star is a fleet admiral. What I'm showing you here is some examples of some uniform patches, ranks that would be worn on the uniform that we have here at Bainbridge. If you notice, there's a few examples. The blue stripes, as I mentioned before, for construction men, and then you have the red stripes for firemen, and of course the blue stripes that are seaman stripes. If you notice, you see some embroidery on each of those, and those are they indicate what the rate is, or as the rate is called, a job that the person has in the Navy. And you see the bulldozer that's embroidered is an equipment operator, and you see the steel worker as well as utilities men, and machinist mate, your engine man, Navy counselor, and a lithographer. If we move to this drawer, another example, you'll see some of the green stripes. And you'll also see, notice this rating badge is a little bit different. It's for a different uniform. So you've seen examples of the ones that go on your whites, on the blues, as this one is as well. This one goes on a khaki uniform. Now, see more examples. Your torpedo men, also your illustrator, your draftsmen, boiler technicians, machinery repairs, several others. But these are some of the examples that we have here, as well as some that are on some of the uniforms that are in display as well. I've laid out a few more examples of the rating badges that are sewn onto the uniform. And this is a third class petty officer, as we mentioned before, a second class petty officer, and a first class petty officer. And then again, the chief petty officer. Now I want to show you a significant difference here. You'll notice that this is a uniform you may not recognize, and this is actually the utility jacket that it would be worn with the dungaree uniform. And this here is the rating badge for the dungaree uniform, first class petty officer, as the last one was as well. And this particular rating badge, if you notice, looks quite different. And to show you, it's on paper. And what this is it's an iron-on. Some people may remember that, but it's an iron-on rating badge that be ironed onto the dungaree uniform. As I mentioned before, we see the equipment operator's patch on the uniform that's on display here at the museum. This is a first-class petty officer, women's dress white uniform that's on display. Now notice the stripes down here on the sleeve. That is a set of stripes that we call lifer stripes, and what they signify is the number of years that you've served in the Navy, and each one is equivalent to 4 years. So this person has more than 16 years in the Navy. This petty officer first class stands at our door each night and day. He never leaves. And he's a first-class petty officer torpedoman, as you can see by his rating badge. This is an example of a women's lieutenant commander uniform that's on display at the museum as well. This is another example of a uniform insignia, uniform type that I hadn't shown you before. And you see your dungaree. And then we'll talk a little bit about what I had mentioned before, which is the lifer stripes. And like I said, each stripe is significant to 4 years. And what we'll talk about here is, I had mentioned red chevrons, or the red stripes, on the rating badges, and then the gold stripes on the rating badges. And what the significance of that is after 12 years of service, your red stripes would change to gold. And that would be done if you, what we would say, stayed out of trouble for 12 years straight. Now I think that policy has changed in the Navy, and at 12 years you turn gold regardless. But that was significant to people's careers. When I was in the Navy, that, you know, when you got gold stripes, it was kind of a significant event. It was also a good story to tell when you met somebody who was 20-something years in the Navy and they had red stripes. It was always good to go ask them how they continued to wear red. There's usually a really good port visit story behind that. Thank you for visiting our virtual tour. Hope you enjoyed that portion. Please come and see our museum when you get a chance. It's much more enjoyable to see everything in person. Thank you.